Hi, how's it going? My name's Luke Diamond. I'm an engineer and producer, and I'm super excited to be back here today with Kiive Audio. Today I wanted to do a fun video where I take raw vocals that I recorded for an acoustic song I'm working on. It's kind of in the demo phase, but I want to take these raw vocals and I want them to be mix ready. Using only Kiive Audio plugins, I know it's possible. The plugins are great. So let's dive in. Now, I know that mix ready is kind of subjective in a way, but to me, what mix ready means is it's in a place where it can inspire you or whoever's mixing the track and kind of give them a direction in which way you want to go. Me doing a lot of tracking, being a tracking engineer, I think it's really important to have something that sounds polished at the end of a recording session. So I have the snippet of the song here. The vocals were recorded good. They're good levels, and I used a nice preamp and a nice mic, but they could definitely use some polish. Let's take a listen.
Today I drove by your favorite coffee shop, and I only liked it 'cause it was your stop, and anything was better than none.
So as you can hear, the vocals kind of sound like they have a blanket thrown over them. Though it's not the most dynamic performance, there are some phrases that kind of get lost in translation there. So I want to make sure that we even those out, we bring them forward. And because the instrumental of the song is kind of scarce, it doesn't have a lot going on in this section of the song, I want to bring those vocals forward and have them be like the main focus. The first plugin I'm going to load is the Filk Channel Mark II. And I love this plugin because it's kind of like your channel strip per se. I'm going to move my EQ over here, and I actually have a favorite EQ. It's the EQ1. And then I'm also going to change the compressor to the Filk Comp 1. Now you can use whatever. I just like the way that these sound, so I'm going to pick these. The first thing I'm going to do here with the EQ is just kind of roll off anything below, let's say 80. 80 seems like a good number. Let's listen though. These are yours.
I drove by your favorite coffee shop, liked it 'cause it was your stop, and anything was better than none.
So I just rolled off everything below 86 hertz. I don't want any of that in my vocal. It's going to give it a little bit more clarity by cutting out some of that muddy low end frequencies. And speaking of that nasty low end, there is some other stuff I would want to probably cut. So I'm just going to kind of use my ears here and find a frequency that is giving me like the boominess in the low end.
Today I drove by your favorite coffee shop, and I only liked it 'cause it was your stop, and
so it's about 100. I'm probably going to cut it by like a dB or two.
Today I drove by your favorite coffee shop, and I only liked it 'cause it was your stop, and anything was better than none.
I cut it at about 100 hertz by about a dB and a half, and I think there's a lot more clarity.
Today I drove by your favorite coffee shop, and I only liked it 'cause it was your stop.
It didn't do a whole lot, but it did clean up a lot of that boomy low end. Let's compare.
Today I drove by your favorite coffee shop, and I only liked it 'cause it was your stop, and anything was better than none.
To me, it feels a little bit cleaner, and now I feel more comfortable getting ready to go into the tonal stuff and then to the first stage of compression. So I'm going to turn on the Filk Pre here, and this is kind of a cool saturation effect. I like to use this really sparingly, but the way I do it is I crank it, go too far, and then back it up.
Today I drove by your favorite coffee shop, and I only liked it 'cause it was your stop, and anything was better than none.
That sounds nice. Kind of adds like a silky smooth top end to it, really. I really like the sound of that. So let's leave that where it is right now. I might revisit that in a bit. We'll see. And now moving on to the Filk Comp. I really just want this to help even things out a little bit. 4:1 is good. We're just going to use the compression to lightly tap some of the things that are making it through.
Today I drove by your favorite coffee shop, and I only liked it 'cause it was your stop, and anything was better than none.
All right, I like how that sounds. I think right now I just want to kind of compare and contrast. We really aren't doing much here. This is just kind of some basic EQ cutting here. It's kind of the surgical. It's not very surgical what I did, but we added a little bit of saturation to give us some of that silky smooth high end. This pre sounds really good, this pre plugin. And then we did some light compression. I tried to volume match so we're not tricking ourselves out here. Let's listen to it off first.
Today I drove by your favorite coffee shop, and I only liked it cause it was your stop, and anything was better than 9.
It just sounds a lot more even and a lot more forward, and I really like that. And next I want to add a little bit more of an aggressive compressor, something that's going to warm it up and make it sound smooth. So for that, we're obviously going to go for the KC1.
Today I drove by your favorite coffee shop, and I only liked it cause it was your stop, and anything.
I'm going to use the sidechain filter to cut or to not have the compressor trigger to anything below about 150.
Today I drove by your favorite coffee shop, and I only liked it cause it was your stop.
So I really like what the KC1 did to the vocals there. I now hear some EQ stuff that we probably need to tackle, so I am going to use the Warmy EP1A V2, which is a really cool plugin, super easy to use. And we're going to do some cutting and some adding. I want some sheen, but I also want some of that booming boxiness and the lower mids to be gone. So I'm going to guess it's probably going to be 400 to 500, so let's kind of listen.
Today I drove by your favorite coffee shop, and I only liked it cause it was your stop.
So I boosted just so I could hear, and it's exactly what I thought. So we're going to cut that by probably about a dB. Let's listen.
Today I drove by your favorite coffee shop, and I only liked it cause it was your stop, and anything was better than 9.
So yeah, I cut about 1 dB at 400 hertz. I also kind of sharpened up the bandwidth a little bit, about, 1 o'clock. And now I want to boost probably around 8K, so let's go ahead and do that.
Today I drove by your favorite coffee shop, and I only liked it cause it was your stop, and anything was better than 9.
It sounds much more balanced now and much more clean, and there's that top end sheen that I really wanted to bring focus to the vocal. And lastly, I kind of want to use essentially an all-in-one type plugin to be able to shape the sound, adds a little bit more compression, maybe some saturation, and yeah, just finish it up. So we're going to use the S Quick Strip. And the first thing I want to do is add a little bit more high end with a shelf.
Today I drove by your favorite coffee shop, and I only liked it cause it was your stop.
So I like how that sounds. Now I want to use the compressor. We're going to kind of go down in order here. This compressor is like incredibly responsive. I don't know how they did this, but it just feels really tactile isn't the word. I don't know what word to use, but it's very responsive.
Today I drove by your favorite coffee shop, and I only liked it cause it was your stop, and anything was better than 9.
And next I'm going to use this transient adjustment knob, the shaper knob here. I would typically use this on drums or really any really aggressive instrument, but for some reason after vocal compression, it sounds really good. So I use it very tastefully, so let's add it.
Today I drove by your favorite coffee shop, and I only liked it cause it was your stop.
And then because we did some compression, I'm just going to make up a dB and a half or so.
Today I drove by your favorite coffee shop, and I only liked it cause it was your stop.
All right, so now that I've made these adjustments and I've even matched my output so I don't give myself the loudness bias, I want to kind of A-B the raw vocal to what I have now. So this is before.
Today I drove by your favorite coffee shop, and I only liked it cause it was your stop. Today I drove by your favorite coffee shop, and I only liked it cause it was your stop.
I'm super happy with the way that that sounds. The vocal is super present, and I did that on purpose because I want some of the vocal effects like the reverbs and stuff to kind of fill out the lower, moodier frequencies. I really wanted this vocal to be up forward, up front, and sounds great. And now really all it comes down to is me kind of doing the same process with the different vocals. This song is very simple. I have like 2 lead vocals and then like a fake double. So I'm quickly just gonna kind of dial in the same sound for this other lead vocal here.
Today I drove by your favorite coffee shop, and I only liked liked it, cause it was your stuff. And anything was better than none. I still got your lipstick on my coffee mug. Still got the wine soaking in the rug. They just remind me that you're gone. When you're not here, when you said you won't let go, then I walked right out that door. Swear we've been here 1,000 times, and I miss you every time.
I love the way that these vocals are sounding, and I love working with Kiive audio plugins. I mean, almost every single one is like multi-use. They're super versatile, super easy to use. I want to thank you all for watching the video, and thank you to Kiive Audio for having me. I hope to see you all in future videos here on the Kiive Audio YouTube channel. I'm Luke. It's been my pleasure, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.